What's up, guys? Welcome to the second episode of the Jesse Garnier show, where we've got our special guest here, Greg Scheffler, just rolled into town. This guy's been absolutely killing it in our industry, and I wanted to invite him down to our office because I just had to hear his story, and I had to just offer any kind of insight that I had to kind of help him along with his business. And he came into this, and he's been doing this for a little while now, and he just absolutely blowing things out of the water. Results just going like mad, man. People just don't even understand what we have here. So I wanted to get his story. And so, Greg, if what was your life like before you kind of got into this whole business?
Well, basically, grew up in a small town. There wasn't a lot of industry there to, work in or make a good living. So I got a job in the oil field. Obviously, being from Alberta, that's what you do, right? And I wanted to build a bright future for my family. So yeah, I started in the patch when I was about 23 years old and worked in the oil field for 16 years, and that was basically the lifestyle I lived, right? I mean, you know how it's like, right? You were there too, and that was the option I had to provide the best for my family, so yeah.
Cool. So what is it that you did in the patch? What was like your main career?
I'm a drilling fluid specialist. I did that for almost 14 years. I'm still doing that and building my business at the same time. So,
awesome,
yeah.
Man. So it sounds like you probably got into the same rut that I went into, where it's like you just kind of jump into that because it makes sense at the time, and then before you know it, life passes by, and you just kind of like one day you look back and you're like, holy shit, where did my life go? And you've gotten to this point in your life and you just kind of like don't even understand where most of your life just went. Is that correct?
Oh, that's 100%, because I had kids when I was like 20 years old, so I'm 37 now, and then I seen my kids, they're growing up now, and I was like, where did my life go, right? And I just wanted to start creating a better lifestyle for myself, my family, even though the oil field gives us everything you need, but there's you always need something else, right? You want to get better and do something that's going to benefit your family, so that's very important.
So even though like life led you to here, you went through the oil field life and that was all fine and dandy, and there's nothing we can really do to get that time back, but if you could go back in time and just I know for me a huge thing that was driving force for me was as soon as I had my kids are still really young, but as soon as I had them, it just gave me a whole new outlook on life. It was like, I have to be here for these people. Like, these are my fucking blood. These people came from me. Like, it was created from me, and I have to be there for them, to show them the ropes, and be there for sports and games and just different things, first day of school and all this kind of stuff. If you could go back, is there a few key things in your kids' lives that you kind of missed out on that you wish you could go back and be there for?
Oh, 100%. I mean, like I said, I started young, so with my first two kids I had, I missed out on a lot. I missed out on birthdays. I mean, there was times I was gone 50, 60 days at a time, and then, when I was almost 30, we were blessed with a third child, and I just said, I don't want to miss out on her life too, right? I already missed out on two kids in my two lives, right? My son and daughter, and I didn't want to miss out on my third daughter's life, and that was a huge driving force for me. And then not only, missing out on my two younger kids, but I wanted to start creating a legacy for my two older kids, right? And so they wouldn't have to experience, what I have, right?
Yeah, and just kind of, this isn't where I expected this to go, but just for me, another thing that and I'm sure you'll see this the same way, one of the things that I really look at in my kids' life, and I'm looking at their future, and I'm seeing how fast technology's moving and how fast jobs are being replaced by automation, robots, and all that kind of stuff, and I'm just like, holy shit, I'm fucking scared for my kids' future, because I don't even know if they're gonna be able to get a job, and I don't even know if they're gonna be we don't know what we don't know. So I'm doing everything I possibly can right now to make sure that they don't even have to worry about that, because thinking back 50 years ago, that's not something people were typically thinking about too much. It was always going to go that same route where, oh yeah, our kids grow up, they get a good job, they go to school, they do this and blah blah blah. Where now, with how fast technology is moving, I'm looking into the next 20 years of life, and we don't even know where things are going to be. We don't know what kind of jobs are going to be available. We just don't know. So it scares the living fuck out of me, to be honest. And that's why I'm doing everything I can right now to make sure that when that time comes, they're okay and they're like build that legacy, so that their kids and their kids and I'm like I got a big legacy that I need to build. Do you feel the same kind of
Oh,
things?
100%. Yeah. I mean, I want to create a legacy for my family that lasts forever, right? Like you said, you don't know what's going to happen 10, 20 years down the road. So you want to create something, to secure your family's future, right? And, what I was doing at the time wasn't getting me to where I wanted to be. And so that's why I needed to make a change, right?
100%, man.
Yeah.
So, what was that one moment that you just decided, like, fuck this, I'm drawing the line in the sand, my life is not going this way anymore, I'm shifting gears, I'm going on a different path? What was that one moment that you just decided enough is enough?
I think, anyone that's been married for a number of years can, really relate to this. It was money initially, right? I mean, although we made a good living, my wife worked a job where she made all right money, but, she was really busting her ass for that. And I got tired of, arguing over money and never having enough of it. I mean, like they say, money doesn't bring you happiness, but it sure makes life a hell of a lot easier. So I think that was a huge line in the sand moment for me, just not really being happy maybe with our careers and not having, not being able to relax more. And I seen her stressed out all the time, and what they all say, a happy wife, happy life, right? So that was a big driving force for me. I was doing it for her and for the family too, right?
Yeah, I like what you said there. Money doesn't bring happiness, because it's like that old saying, or not the old saying, but that quote I read a little while ago. It's like, money doesn't bring happiness, but I'd sure as hell rather cry in a Lamborghini.
Yeah, no doubt, 100%, man.
So going through this business, I'm sure there's been ups and downs, just like any business, whether it's online or offline. If you, like, could you just list off maybe a few of the initial struggles that you had kind of getting started?
Just basically, one of my biggest struggles was getting started, like procrastination, right? And, when I met one of my mentors that got me into this business, I mean, I spoke with him for 6 months and I procrastinated about getting started. And then it was initially getting started, just trying to find consistency in my business, and I struggled with that. But, I just, followed what they did and, looked up to those guys. And, that was the biggest struggle for me, was just staying consistent in my business, even when I wasn't getting any results, right? I mean, everyone wants to give up at that point, but just pushing forward and, being able to just push hard and wanting to be successful, right?
For sure, man. I'm a firm believer in that everything happens for a reason. So, again, I don't want to, like, say this in the wrong way where it's like, do you wish you would have started when you first kind of seen it? But I do believe that everything happens for the right reason, and it all works out perfectly in the end. So even though you didn't get started right when you first talked to him and it took 6 months to kind of get that ball rolling, I believe that I'm sure you would agree with this, that yeah, it would have been good to get started earlier, because then the results would have came a little faster. But also with that, like, don't beat yourself up, because you probably had some stuff that you had to work through in that period where you just had to get yourself into a position to be able to do this, and so that's perfect, man. I really like that. Mm-hmm. So on that topic, you talked about a mentor. Who are some of the mentors that you kind of looked up to initially once you got started in this business?
Well, obviously the guy I got started with, Murray Oliver, he was the guy that got me started, and then seeing kind of how you were producing too, and following him, and he's been a big mentor for me, just keeping in touch with him and talking on a daily basis, and just learning from the whole team and him and the people above him like you, and just following the people that you want the results of, right? And
so would you say having a mentor, or having multiple mentors, has been a huge catalyst to your success so far?
Oh, for sure. I mean, having one mentor is great, but having a bunch of other people to look up to and follow. I mean, I definitely have multiple mentors. I don't lean just on one person. I like to educate myself, right, and see what other people in the industry are doing and learn from them too, right?
So with going all through all the struggles and going through all the growing pains and all that stuff, and talking to your mentors and figuring out who to listen to and who not to listen to, and all that kind of stuff, because I do believe that there is really good mentors, and then there's also people who think they know what they're talking about, and it's not always good to listen to everybody who thinks they know what they're talking about, because they could actually lead you in the wrong path. But I just want to ask you one quick question about what are some, like, now that you've kind of gotten through the initial stages of your business and you've got things rolling, you've had some really great months that have like blown people's expectations and stuff like that. What's like, now that you're not so much, like, you're still focused on today per se, but what's some of like the future vision, the goals that you want to accomplish, and like just the big long-term stuff that you're kind of shooting for?
Long term, I mean, just really, a lot of people don't really develop a vision, I guess, and I guess that's what you really need to do, is have a long-term vision and, you know, build your business for the long term. So I think my biggest vision is just staying consistent in my business and impacting as many people as possible and helping as many people get to where I am right now. And I mean, that's my biggest vision, is just have, you know, long-term growth, meeting the right people, and, you know, growing as an individual, right? Because maybe I'm not quite where I want to be today, but I know that if I want to get to that spot, I need to meet the right people and the right mentors, and really to explode my business to the next level. So I think that's my long-term vision, is just meeting the proper people that can help me achieve that.
Yeah, man, it's a lot of like, it's a lot similar to what my long-term vision is. Just to, like, for one, as far as my family goes, I want to build a legacy that they don't have to worry about money or finances. Mm-hmm. For two, I want to just kind of show as many people that, like, you can chase your dreams and it is possible for you to achieve them.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of putting in the work, like you said, and showing up, and even pushing your comfort zone to do things that you wouldn't normally do, just to kind of get the word out there and show people, like, you can have these things. If you want a fucking Ferrari, you can have it. You just need to put in the work. The result of getting that Ferrari will be the direct reflection of how much work you did to get to that point, right? Mm-hmm. And not everyone wants that, but if that's something that somebody wants, like, they can fucking have it. They can get it. Anyone can get it. It's just a matter of actually figuring out how to do it and putting in the work, right?
Yeah, no, 100%.
So yeah, that's one of my big, huge vision, is just to spread the word and show people, like, you can have these things that you want. You just need to put in the work. You just need to start somewhere and make little progress, little steps every day to just get one step closer to that goal or whatever it is that you want.
Yeah, 100%.
So last question I got for you is just kind of, what's one big takeaway that you've ever learned from just myself personally?
Just seeing your consistency in your business, right? Like, from where you started now to where you are today, and consistency. I mean, that's a big thing in business, and that's my biggest takeaway from learning from you, from where you started to where you are today, and how consistent you've been and the people you've impacted. I mean, that's exactly what I want to do as well.
Sweet, man. Appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah.
For everyone watching, make sure to follow this guy. If they want to follow you, where's the best place to go?
Just Facebook. I'm on Facebook all the time. That's where I build my business. So yeah, look me up, friend request me, and yeah.
At Greg Scheffler. Make sure to go follow him. He's doing some crazy ass shit. He's going to blow your mind. And yeah, dude, thanks for coming on the show.
Yeah, appreciate it.